Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. And now, coming to the mic, your host, Jalen Walker.
Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. I'm your host, Jalen Walker. We have a lot to unpack today, as always. Big fight card tonight. Brian T. City Ortega versus the Korean Zombie. Very excited about that. Also, we're going to get into McGregor and Poirier news. The date is now set. And then also I want to break down that insane spinning back kick by Jaquan Buckley later in the podcast. We'll break it all down and much more. But first, my guest on the show today was a number one ranked wrestler coming out of high school, where he was coached by the legendary Daniel Cormier. He is now on to Michigan State to showcase his talents. I'd like to welcome to the podcast, Chase Saldate. Hey, how's it going, man?
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Excited to get to chat with you, break down some things, and pick at your brain a little bit.
Heck yeah.
It's crazy how much your name comes up in the world of MMA, and not even being an MMA fighter yet. We don't know. But just being a wrestler, we had Kyle Driscoll on the show. I'm not sure if you remember Kyle Driscoll from AKA. He was talking highly about you. He was talking highly about you and just how you've grown and stuff. It just amazes me how many people know you, know about you, and what you're doing. What does that feel like? Is that like a pressure?
At first I would see it as a pressure. When it was first coming on, I was kind of felt like had to kind of fight, because I've been around so many fighters, and that's kind of what people know me for, is being around all these great fighters. And the number one question I would always get was, are you going to fight? It took me a little while until just recently, really, to just like kind of realize, like, right now I'm focused only on wrestling,
Exactly.
MMA and all that could be in the future, but there's no pressure for any of that stuff. And it's just wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's a good mindset to have. Focus on what you're doing right now and achieve achieve it at the highest possible level you can get it at. So I think most people know this, but you went to Gilroy High School, and you were under the legendary Daniel Cormier. He has an amazing wrestling program out there at the high school. He does amazing work with you guys and all the young kids. What's it like having DC as a coach?
So, most people have only had DC from 2 years. He came to Gilroy High junior, senior year for me, so this would be his third year. But me personally, I've been getting coached by DC since I was in 7th grade.
Okay.
So I've had a long time with him. And with that being said, is coming into being coached by DC, I was never an MMA guy. I didn't know who he was, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I never seen it as a big, I'm coached by this like big famous person, this famous fighter, until when I got into high school, I'd say junior year, we'd start traveling, and we go to these airports, and people are like coming up to him like, oh, can I get a picture? Can I get this? And then like it kind of really hit me like, oh my gosh, like he is actually like famous. Like,
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Hall of Famer.
So definitely. But being around him, you would never think that because of the way he acts. He just acts normal, he doesn't flaunt it. He doesn't drive these super nice cars.
He's a humble dude.
He doesn't flex this, flex that. It's just like a normal type of guy. So you never would have seen it like that. So being coached by him, I would say it's almost nothing different than being coached by your average high school coach, in the sense that he acts normal, but in the sense of practice wise, they are some of the toughest practices you'll ever be put through. I mean, we are fortunate enough to have not just him, but guys like Deron Wynn, Kyle Crutchmer, Sean Bunch in the room. And, of course, these are all top high-level wrestling guys. And with DC graduating from Oklahoma State, being the NCAA All-American, NCAA finalist and all that, I mean, we are getting college practices as high school kids. So being coached by him, it's almost like getting ahead of a little bit. For me personally, it was like getting prepared for college before I was even in college. My senior year wasn't really about let's go out and win a state title. It was more let's get ready for college next year. And along that way, let's win a state title.
Yeah, I can understand that exactly, and it shows in your. I've watched a few of your fights, and it shows when you fight. We'll get into some of those fights a little bit later, your bouts, but it can show that you're well above the average high school wrestler. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
some of the stuff you're doing on the mat. Honestly had my jaw on the ground. It was like, wow, how the hell is he doing that? It's pretty impressive. But one of the reasons you probably know how to do most of that stuff, and you're so dominant, is, I mean, you're one of the few, let's say, kids in NCAA or whatever that have got to wrestle Khabib. Like, that's huge. Like, possibly one of the greatest
Yes, sir.
wrestlers of all time right now in modern era. Like, Khabib, man. Like,
Definitely.
you had like a 2 hour like session with him.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I've had a few.
Yeah.
With
I saw the
him.
YouTube videos, man. He was toying with you.
Oh yeah.
I felt so bad for you, man.
It's like a whole different, like, there's man strength, and then what I say is there's like Habib and his cousin, his brother, like their strength is above man
Ungodly.
strength. Like, and people always ask me to detail like what it's like, and I'm just like you can't explain it, especially once he takes you down, because I mean, off the wall he's really good, because that's where he, like, that's how you fight, you take people down on the cage and stuff like that. So he would take me down from there, and as soon as we get on the floor, he's locking his legs like he normally does, just like in fights. And every time I tell people, I say, I know why Conor McGregor tapped. Like, you are suffocating down there the whole time. It is unreal, and it's like hard to describe. But with that being said, it's like no college kid in the country. I mean, no high school kid in the country could do that. I don't think any college kid could reenact the same exact thing that he does, like, to that extent. So, I mean, join with him, practicing.
And he was using close grip against you too, wasn't he? Like, here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
You're
that.
not supposed to lock your hands. He would lock your hands.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're cheating.
Yeah.
And
he was putting you against the wall. You know me. I don't know how used you are. I mean, he was fighting you like he was wrestling you like it was an MMA cage. He does what he does best: get you in the corner, put you down, tie your legs up, and just put extreme amount of strength of grip on you. And it's even Kyle Driscoll was talking about it. He was like, dude, like, wrestling Khabib in the gym just sucks. Like, he was like, man, he just gets you on the ground and he just talks to your ear, like, get out, brother, get out. Like, it's just, I love Khabib.
That's exactly how it is.
Yeah. I love it though.
If you go back to the YouTube video and watch when I'm taking down, he's like lightly punching me in my headgear, like kind of like choking me a little bit, nothing like crazy, but like practicing it. And you could hear him talking to me. He's like, this is Dakistan now, brother, like stuff like that. And I just like, I'm like, dude, like, it's not like it's a front end fight. It's like he does this stuff in practice.
Yeah, dude. And it seemed like you got his respect at the end when you guys are sitting on the wall just chatting up. Seems like he respects for where you're at in your career, that he sees good things for you. Because I don't think he's just going to wrestle with anybody, you know what I mean? Like
100%.
Yeah.
And it took me a couple times, because I've been going to AK for years, and to even start wrestling the Russians, it's almost like steps, I guess you say, to the game. I started off wrestling his littler brother, and then I started wrestling Islam, where I got Russian tie snapped. So that was against Islam. And then the next time they came down, I was finally like big enough to wrestle Habib, and I went like 2-3 goes with him. And then after, he was like you said, we were on the wall talking. It was all cool. And that's what I like about them. Like, they're willing to train with anybody. Just because he's literally the greatest fighter right now, he's not going to say, no, you're not a fighter. Like, I'm not going to work out with you. He's going to be like, oh, like, you're the next generation. Of course I'm going to work out with you.
Yeah.
So that's what I really like.
And he's gonna throw you around and make you earn it, though. He's gonna make you earn that advice.
He's gonna make you feel it. He's not taking it easy on you because you're a youngin.
What was it like the next day after wrestling Khabib? Did you feel it?
Oh, I was sore for sure. I was really sore.
I bet. I read in an interview that you said that he just wouldn't get gassed, and you were gassed. You said I
was so tired because I was like, I just want to get one takedown,
Yeah.
Like,
you almost had him.
Like, I'm gonna.
You almost had him on the single leg. I saw it. That was impressive.
Did. That was close. I was like really close to that, and then he kind of just like man strength me.
Yeah. He's like, no.
Yeah, he was like, oh, okay, now I'm really shy, and he's like, oh.
Let me close my grip on this kid.
Yeah. So after like 2 or 3 goes like that, I was like, oh my gosh, like, dude, I'm so tired. And then like as I'm down there, he's like you don't like see it in his fights or when he trains, but when he's on top of you, he's like suffocating you. Like it like just feels like you're like getting held under a blanket the whole time, which is something Driscoll like told me when he first wrestled him. And then I was like, dude, there's no way. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's like that, but not that bad. And then I got down there and I was like, I'm gonna freak out. Like, this is insane. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you kept your composure. You didn't.
yeah.
I mean, you tapped out like once or twice, something like that. I mean,
Yeah, towards the end, I was like, dude, like.
I mean, there's nothing to be wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're not immediately tapping, which most people probably
100%.
would with Khabib. I mean, he's an animal,
Yeah.
man. And that was 3 days before your Central Coast Section Championships, correct?
Yes, it was.
So that must have been a really good like session for you before going in. Just
Oh,
it's like shooting
definitely.
free throws with a medicine ball, and then they gave you the real ball after.
Exactly. It was just like that. So
Yeah.
going in Central Coast, I think I like pinned everybody within like the first round or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
That was like really quick. So
Yeah.
like it was almost like that whole like the practice with Habib was 10 times tougher than the actual tournament was.
The whole tournament combined.
Yeah.
I mean, I do not doubt it, man. I do not doubt it. So what was I gonna say? Recently I don't know if you saw it, but there's a video of DC and Fight Island with Kamzat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my goodness, like just to see Kamzat next to DC, and like I didn't realize like he was that tall. You know what I mean? I didn't like that dude.
Definitely.
That dude is gonna be. I mean, he's already dangerous. But in my eyes, I've said this already. Only person that's gonna be Adesanya will be Kamzat. In my eyes,
I could see that.
that's the
Now,
only
when
person I could see doing something.
when I saw him like next to DC, I was like, dude, like DC kind of looks small, like height
Yeah,
wise.
and
Like,
DC's a big guy.
he is, and like he was a heavyweight and stuff, you know, like naturally you would just think of him as being way bigger. And then they're like in like over unders, and I was like, dude, like he's bigger than DC. And then when DC said he was like he's strong, I was like, oh, like I'm sure that guy's strong, like for sure. Because I mean, DC being trained with a bunch of people,
Yeah.
if he says you're strong, you're pretty
Yeah.
strong.
When he said this man got a grip, he's strong. I was like, yeah, he does. And you saw DC leaning in on him, and Kamzat was like, oh, this is a little difficult here. I mean, because you know DC knows everything. I mean, he's
Yeah.
he's a god when it comes to wrestling and
Then he
the
started.
mat.
You started showing him that little thing, dude. He's like, "See what I do with my hand right here." Like,
Dude, I bet that was just as big as for Kamzat as it was for DC, because DC's slowly,
oh yeah.
like on Ariel, Hawani and their podcast, like DC's slowly falling in love with Kamzat, like from the first time he
Oh,
followed
yeah.
him, and like he's just slowly he even admitted he didn't know about him before. He's on the hype train like we all are. I think it is okay for that. Like we all gotta board the Kamzat hype train at this point. Like he's doing things
Well,
that we haven't seen in a long time.
and it's coming so fast.
17
he's
seconds,
fighting
dude.
All
Jared
the time.
Mershart.
His knockouts are quick, like you said. One punch, 7 seconds. Like
17,
Like,
yeah,
it's almost
17 seconds.
impossible not to be a fan of him.
Just think,
Like
it's just like even DC said it. He was like going into the Gerald Mershart fight. He was like, if Kamzat beats Mershart, just plain up beats him, whatever it is, he's gonna put his name in the drawing. Then he came out and knocked him out in 17
one
seconds.
punch.
What it was
was-
perfect too. Just the execution. He waited for him to open up on the cage and just landed it through the middle of his. Oh my god, just
It
so
looked
entertaining.
like it was like something he could have done like earlier too, low key. Like he could have
Yeah.
just been like
He probably
it
could have
was
just
almost, like,
walked up to
effortless.
Gerald
Like,
and just punched him. Like, yeah, it could have been anything. Like that dude, I don't want to
Yes.
know what his full potential is going to be if I'm a fighter going against him. I mean, look at Stephen Thompson.
100%.
Stephen Thompson turned him down. I mean, only
Dude,
person.
there's quite a bit of fighters who are wanting to turn him down. If I'm a big fighter right now, I'd rather fight him now because
Until
every
yep.
fight he gets, he's only going to get better,
Yeah.
and he's going to be really dangerous when he's up there.
I don't know if you saw what Chris Weidman just said on Twitter. He said this guy Kamzat needs some humbling. Would love to do that. January, I'm in. Make this happen. Kamzat replied, "Whenever you want, I will smash you. I don't understand why you need so long time. If you are a fighter, you must always be ready." Fist emoji.
That would be a good fight. And dude,
It would be.
this guy, Tom Shevler, what did he do? He fought, like, went a different weight class, like, the next couple of weeks
Yeah,
later,
so he was
fought
at
again.
Fight Island. He fought, and then he fought at middleweight, and then he went up 10 days later and fought at welterweight and had both
And
knockouts. And in all of his last 3 fights, including Jared Mershart, he's been hit he's thrown 189 punches, and he's only been hit twice.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That
his
is
numbers don't
insane.
make sense.
No,
It just doesn't
100%
make
doesn't.
sense. And the
He
thing
is
is,
like the next gen. Like
he's not even the next generation. He's just a beast. He's once in a lifetime. He's just like Sean O'Malley, even though Sean O'Malley had the injury against what you call it.
yes,
You know what I mean?
I think he's. I think I could see him. I think he's almost gonna be. He's gonna be bigger than Sean O'Malley at the
Yeah.
moment because he's willing to
Oh,
fight
yeah.
already. O'Malley got that injury, but those two together, I can see what you're saying. They're
Yeah.
like pretty identical in the fact that everybody hopped on like the hype train.
Yeah.
They're coming in. They're just dominating.
Yeah, I mean, we were supposed to get Sean O'Malley in November, December, but the injury. He wanted to fight 4 times a year. I mean, you got the likes of Angela Hill fighting 4 times a year. Sean's trying to fight 4 times a year.
Yes.
I mean, Khamzat's on track. If he wants, he could fight 3 times this week, and he'll be cool. Like, it's
Definitely.
it's a different type of strength when it comes to Khamzat, Khabib, and all those.
Yeah.
Even Justin Gaethje, it's a different type of animal they have, and like even they say Justin Gaethje just punches like a truck, and I believe it, man.
Oh, heck yeah, I believe that for sure.
I mean, look what he did to Tony Ferguson's face. Like,
That was bad. That wasn't even a close fight.
nah, like when Tony
I don't
shook
think
his
anybody
face,
predicted that.
it was like a dog just trying to get a fly off his face. When Tony did that, man, the ref stopped. I was like, yeah, they gotta stop this. That next punch is gonna put him in
Yes.
outer space.
The only thing was in the second round when Ferguson caught him at the end of the
Oh,
round.
yeah.
I think it was the second. That was the
Was the second.
only thing that Ferguson had that whole fight. Then
Yep.
after that, like towards the last round, Ferguson was like almost like pushing away.
Yep.
Like,
I mean,
like,
he didn't get
away
knocked
from me.
out. Like Ferguson's
No.
one tough dude, man. I don't know how the
Respect for
hell
that.
he didn't get knocked out. And if the ref would have let it, I think it was Herb Dean. If Herb Dean would have kept letting it go, I think he could have lasted a couple more blows. But I think it was just too much. He couldn't see. There was blood everywhere. It was.
He had nothing for him. But that was also like Gaethje looked the best he's ever looked.
Yeah,
I think personally, he looked phenomenal on his boxing.
yeah, I'm excited for next Saturday. Very excited. I'm a huge
Oh,
Khabib
I
guy,
know.
but I love Gaethje, man. I love Gaethje. He's an underdog. He spoiled everyone's anticipation for this Tony Ferguson versus Khabib fight. He took that out of the
Yes.
draw. He came in and said, "Nah, this is mine." He threw the interim belt off his waist when he won it. Like that's some next level stuff that I'm trying to see. Like he don't want that.
Definitely.
I don't personally. To me, this is an idea I have. I've never said on the podcast, but I think the interim belt should be red leather, so you can tell the difference. Because you got the likes of Colby Covington, who was carrying around an interim belt and then took it to the
After he
White
was
House. Like that shit's stupid. Like no one cares about an interim belt. Yeah, you're the interim champion. Go beat the champion, then wear that belt.
Yeah, exactly. I feel that same way.
yeah.
I
At
mean,
least
I can
change
see
the
I don't
color
think
of it or
the interim
something.
belt's that big. Like it's big, but like you can't flex it like you're the champ.
Yeah.
Of course. Like
Yeah, it is a big thing.
100%.
Like when Khabib was out though, so like for Justin Gaethje's like standpoint, like I understand, like that's okay for the interim belt. Khabib was taking a suspension and stuff like that, and it's that point. It's like you are the champ because there is no one here to fight yet at this point. So I can understand at that point, but any other time, it's just like.
But if there's a champion ready to fight and you're holding off on it,
Yeah.
then it's like, bro, like, come on,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
That's why. Who was it? Oh man, it was Max Holloway against Dustin Poirier for the interim champion to fight Khabib, and that was one of my favorite fights of all time. That
fight was good.
That instance. Go ahead and put the belt on one of them, the interim belt, because they deserved it. But you know what I mean. But they're not walking around on their shoulder with it at the airport and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean.
No, they're not taking it places like look at this, look at this.
Like Kobe,
type
man.
thing.
I don't want to get into Covington. Let's not do that.
He's crazy.
I won't. You won't stop me. It'll be bad. Let's not do this. But yeah. Let's talk about AKA again. So, you have the wonderful opportunity of visiting the legendary gym of AKA. Just being there, the atmosphere. What's some of the biggest things you've taken away from being around, legends? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think being around there for so many years, probably the main thing I learned from Two, I'd say there's two things. Team being more of a family because that team is so close.
Yeah,
I
very
mean, every
close.
fighter AK is
I
super
mean,
close with each
it's a
other.
mom and pop's gym, man.
Yes. And I would say humble. I mean, that may be cliche because like, oh, you train with Habib, humble stuff. But that is something that is like got nailed into my head. Not even when Habib was just there, when DC was there, like when DC was coaching me there, when Habib was there. It's just something that like almost all the fighters there have. Of course, you can have one or two that may not be as humble as others, but that is something that they all have. They're all humble. They're all respectful, and that's just something that I learned. And because when I was younger, and I would first become like a top 20 kid in the country, I was like, oh, like I like tell people, like, yeah, like I'm number 17 in the country or something like this, and like try and flex it type thing. And then literally after really a little while just being in AKA, because it wasn't until my junior year when I was pretty decent in high school that I was in AKA a lot throughout the year.
Hmm.
I learned, I was like, dude, like you got guys like Cain Velasquez, DC, Habib, Luke Rockwood, like guys like this, and a lot of them aren't even like trying to say like nobody's in the gym saying like, oh look at me, I'm the champ type
Yeah,
thing.
it's not
You
like
know?
that. They're
And
the gym is the champ when it comes to AKA. If you
exactly,
got a title,
yes,
the gym got the title,
exactly.
and that's
So
what I
that's
love
something
about AKA.
I just learned from that.
Yeah,
Hey, I love AKA. It's great.
and the
It's a great
same
place
with
to be. It's a great atmosphere.
Uriah Faber with Team Alpha Male. They're the same way. You know, all most of those gyms, like it's the if one of you guys got the title, they're everyone's celebrating, and they're gonna make sure you
Hmm.
keep it. They're gonna do whatever you got to do to keep it. And then there's some gyms where a fighter might fight one of their teammates for that title. You know what I mean? But I kind of
Yeah,
frown upon that, but I understand the competitiveness of it. But I don't
I
know.
could see like under like how Habib and Gaethje are both under Ali, right? Under the same.
Hmm.
So that's a little. Isn't that who they're under? I know Habib is, but on their fighting, I'm pretty sure if you're under the same like manager, I could kind of see that. But if you're like training in the gym all the time, and you guys are like, I don't know. I personally couldn't do that.
But
I'd be
that's
like,
what
dude, like
happened
that's kind
with
of weird.
who was it? It was Usman and Burns. That's what was going on with them. Cause aren't they on the same team? I think they
I
are.
believe so.
Yeah, Usman left Florida to go to Colorado to train with separate people. Gilbert stayed at the home gym.
Yeah.
And then there was talks like, oh, Usman's training camp's going great. He might stay out here. Who knows what's gonna happen? And then obviously
Hmm.
Gilbert Burns had a false positive COVID test, took him out of the running, and then insert Jorge Masvidal. You know,
Yeah. On
but
short notice type thing.
it's just been a
Yeah,
crazy year.
I think that's crazy. Like, I mean, I can understand it because I mean, I think if it really comes down to it, if you need that title shot that bad, if you're willing to fight like your teammate for it, which I guess depending on the teammate, I mean, if how long they've been there type thing. But personally, if I was an AK, and let's just say I had to fight like Kyle Driscoll for it, I'd be like, dude, like I'm cool right now. Like you
Yeah,
don't see
exactly.
Habib and Islam trying to fight each other, like just 'cause- and they're the
Yeah,
same weight.
exactly.
So that's how
I even
I see
asked
it.
Orion Kosi. I don't know if you know him from Contender Series, the Kosi brothers. But I asked
Uh,
him. Yeah, I had him on, and I asked him. I was like, "Would you fight Tim Elliott, your teammate, to move up in the ranks?" And he's like, "Nah, it's not. That's
yeah,
not
see,
how this works." He was like, "Tim's been around for the longest. I would never try to step on his toes. I would never like we're teammates. We're not like that. It's not like that." And I respect that. I really do respect that.
100%.
Even if it's a chance to take you for not being ranked to at least getting 15th or 14th on the leaderboards, it's just not worth it. I don't think. I really don't think.
Definitely. And that's, yeah, I would sit the same type of way when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal, I guess. I mean, especially if they're there, like, you can't, if you're the younger guy, I'm sure you could wait a little bit. There's no thing saying you have to fight your teammate. There's other fighters,
Exactly.
of course, you know.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But I will understand it from Gilbert Burns' point of view. You got to think Usman is also one of the top fighters in the world right now. Getting a
Mhm.
chance at him, getting a chance at the title, I honestly, it's going to take a lot for Usman to lose that title, I think. Um,
He's dominant.
I think if Jorge Masvidal had a full camp, I still think he would struggle a little bit, but I think he would have a better opportunity to stun him. And I think he would have trained more for Usman's cage work and ground game. I think it would have
Yeah.
just been an overall better experience and a better fight. It was a great fight, don't get me wrong. I mean, Jorge
Hmm.
Masvidal for
For what
2
he
week
came
notice,
off of, it was good.
22-pound weight loss. Like you can't make that up, man. 22 pounds, and then to come out and fight possibly one of the most dominant fighters in the UFC right now. I mean, he tied. Like, is his record better than GSP's now? I think Usman is one up on the welter streak over GSP right
Wow.
now. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's nuts, man. Like, you got to give it to Jorge Masvidal, and people like shit on him and say, "No, man, like he'll never beat him." Give him a chance. I think Jorge Masvidal
exactly.
should get another chance, but I think how it should work out. I think Jorge should fight Leon Edwards. I think Nate Diaz should fight Dan Hooker, and then
See that?
from there, you either got to pick one of them to fight Usman, one of those two winners, like out of those fights.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Leon Edwards, he's on an 8-fight win streak. I think he deserves his chance. I think he's just been pushed down just because of the names of Jorge, Nate coming back.
Exactly.
I mean, and it sucks because it is kind of like, hey, he needs to put one more big name on his resume before he gets that title shot. But it's like, dude, like, what else does he got to do? Like,
exactly.
I hope he gets his chance.
And I think when it comes down to, like, for example, like, let's say the Usman and Masvidal fight, I think if you come off on short like notice like that, like you come to fight short notice, I think you should almost be guaranteed. Like,
it should be in the contract.
Yeah, like how are you gonna like fight him on like let's just say 2 week notice?
Yeah.
Like and just say it was a close fight, and then how are they not gonna be like, okay, we'll bring you back with a full fight camp and do this again? I personally think it should be like that.
Yeah, I do too. What do you think about Nick Diaz coming back? Possibly January.
I don't know. I'm hyped because I'm really interested to see how
I'm
he
scared.
is.
I'm so scared, man.
I just see him as kind of being like older.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to remember Nick Diaz as that crazy dude as always. I don't want to see him come out and like pull a Diego Sanchez. You know, that dude came out just super overweight and just got rocked.
Yeah.
I hope I don't see that with Nick Diaz because, you know, he's a wild card, but he's up there with the top people. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, definitely.
I'm excited. I hope he does very well. I would love for him to come back. Someone asked GSP would he fight Nick Diaz, and he's like, nah, I ain't got nothing to prove there.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no point.
Cool.
Yeah. What is there to prove? Like, I dominated them. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for these fighters and 2020 in a whole, and for the end of this year, these fights. We got some bang. I mean, even tonight, Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega, man. Finally.
That's gonna be a great fight.
Oh my god, dude! I'm so excited. I'm so excited, dude. I haven't been this excited since Adesanya's fight, which, I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
Adesanya is one of my favorite fighters. If not, he probably was my favorite fighter before.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like was like, dude, like all this social media stuff he did. Like at first, I was like, oh, okay, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, bro, like this is old. Like, come on. But I still think he's one of the greatest fighters right now. For sure. He's so good.
He's just so quick. He's like Anderson Silva, like mixed with just some of there's no one like him. He's just so fast.
No, he fights so weird.
Like if you watch Paulo Costa's like highlights, like I've seen all of his fights, but Paulo Costa just like puts people down. His uppercuts, his hooks, and Adesanya took all that away from him. He took off his lead leg. He was out of the pocket. Like he couldn't do anything.
And Costa wasn't going forward at all, which I think everybody was like thought he would do because that's what he does. Like he comes forward and he just swings.
He was scared.
If he connects, you're out. But he was trying to like stay like stationary and like kind of stay in the middle. But like doing something like that against Israel, I mean, bro, like you're not gonna stand there with.
You're gonna get chopped up.
You're gonna out slick him or something.
You're gonna get chopped up, chop suey. I mean,
and that's what happened.
Same thing happened with Yoel Romero. I think that's what Yoel Romero went in thinking, like, I'm going to make him come to me because if I go to him, he's not going to be there when I get there. And that happened over and over, and Romero's like, I'm going to stand here. You know what I mean? And then Paulo Costa did the same thing, and then Adesanya was like, Romero. Like, and you just picked it up perfectly on the cameras. And I was like, damn, calling him out. And then he just did his thing, man. That kick to the head from the left foot, and it just came up.
That was so nasty.
What did he hit him with? To really mess him up, he hit him with that right the hook to the body, and then he tried to, dude, they were just bombs going off. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Just bombs. I feel bad for Costa, to be honest with you, but that's what happens. I mean, that was Brazil's protege, their next big guy.
Their next star.
I mean, he still has some stuff in him, but you know.
And that was only his first loss, wasn't it?
Yep, he was undefeated. It was a rare. Both fighters are undefeated.
Very rare occasion.
Yep. All right, let's move on. We don't need to keep talking about just UFC fighters and stuff. We want to talk about you. That's why you're here. So you won the Mid-Cal finals where you beat the number 2 Tyler Dean, and you made that look easy. And then you dominated at state. But the year before that, you were the runner-up before you won state. Is that correct?
Yeah, I took second that year.
Okay. So at state, you actually pinned Tyler Badgett, I believe, at the 1 minute and 58 mark. You won 6 matches, 5 by pinfall. I mean, you dominated. There's really not. I don't even need to say other people's names. It was you dominated, man. It was very impressive. I mean, I watched the video over, just the look on your face, how you got him. I don't even know what the move's called. You went like under his shoulders and had his arm pins behind his back, and you just lifted him up. Like, what is that called? Do you know what I'm talking about?
The armbar where I'm on top.
Yeah, and his body was just being projected upwards, like his legs are in the air. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an armbar. Whoa, a wrestling armbar.
Yeah, wrestling. But that was crazy. Just the strength and keep him up there. Jesus Christ, that's scary, man.
Yeah, that was the armbars. Like was my signature in high school.
Really?
Every guy pinned was with that same move, and it was just like I don't know. It just worked for me.
I feel it. It's that motion.
DC was just grinding it on my head at practice. He's like, drill it, and it paid off.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think DC was just as hyped as me winning it. Like
I saw him in an interview after, man. He was sweating. He was so happy.
Yeah.
That you guys were like in a parking lot or something, or the garage or whatever you guys were talking backstage.
Like, so that's right, like under the stadium. So
yeah.
As soon as you walk like out from the match, like it's under the stadium. So it looks, it was right in there.
Man, that must have been a great feeling. That picture when he came and hugged you, I would get that framed if I were you, man. I would have that. That's a great picture, man. Just the pure joy in DC's face. Because it's not always about him. You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
He wants people around him to succeed, and his young pupils like yourself, and you've lived up to his expectations, I believe.
I mean, even to this day, I still talk to him about practice.
That's
and
good.
Like hit him up for technique. He always checks in on me. He makes sure I'm not getting too chubby. That was a big thing when I first moved out here.
You need to tell him to slow down. He's in retirement now. He's picking up some weight.
Yeah. You'd be like, let me see. He's like, I'm just checking to see how big you are. I was like, I'm not that big. I haven't been gaining weight yet.
Yeah, he's over in Abu Dhabi right now. He's doing tonight's card, and he's doing the Khabib card. And I don't know if he's gonna do any after that. I'm not sure. I hope we get.
I forget. I talked to him right before he left, and he told me the card was gonna be there, but I forget. I just know he's gonna be there for the Khabib one.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if he's staying after.
Yeah, that's is Khabib in fight? Yeah, Khabib's Fight Island, I think. I could be wrong. Let me look. UFC 254. Yeah, the flash form. Yep, it's
Khabib's fighting the main. Is co-main Islam?
No, the co-main is Robert Whittaker versus Jared.
That's
the Killer Gorilla. That's who Adesanya. Adesanya said whoever wins that fight, he wants to fight next. If it's Robert Whittaker that beats Jared Cannonier, I don't want to see Robert Whittaker fight Adesanya again. He doesn't deserve it. Like, he got destroyed.
No, definitely not.
Like,
he got killed.
That was probably my favorite Adesanya knockout. When he slipped that punch and his, oh my.
And Whittaker was like, I don't know, the way he fell, it just looked sick.
Just like his soul left his body. And Robert Whittaker's a beast, but I love the Killer Gorilla, Jared Cannonier. I hope he wins that fight. I think him versus Adesanya will be a sleeper fight. I think people are going to sleep on it, and I think it's actually going to give him a good run for his money. I really do.
Well, and I think it would be good to start throwing in. I mean, why would throwing Whittaker again if he's already fought him?
Yeah.
Like,
there's no point.
Like
there's no point.
No.
Adesanya's at the point where he's so good, he's just looking for names to put on his resume. He's just looking for that hit list. That's all he wants. He wants the biggest and baddest names, no matter who you are, how old you are. That's why I want him to fight John Jones. I think that'd be amazing.
That'd be so good.
I've been talking about it a lot.
Fight.
I put out an SOS on Twitter to try to get them to come on my show and get out the beef, but that'll never happen. But cross my fingers. I would just love to see them two go back and forth because John Jones has been such a Twitter troll. Like, just at least Adesanya is like kind of respectful with it, but he being funny. John Jones is just saying stupid shit. Like, it's just like, dude, what are you 100%. Talking about? Like, why are you talking about his dad and his mom? Just leave that
personal with it.
Yeah, and it's like, I understand. I honestly think John Jones is going crazy. I think there's something mentally up there.
I know you got questions for my wrestling too, but I was looking at the fight card real quick.
Yeah.
And I want to see Taivusu, or I don't know if that's how you say it correctly, but I want to see him win.
Oh yeah. What's his name? Yeah. Because he's fighting the Giant. He's fighting Stefan, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's he's fighting yes.
Yeah.
So
I love.
I actually got the honor of meeting him. He came and trained at AKA, and I was like hanging out with him in Gilroy. He came watch our tournaments and stuff. And after I met him, I was like, I kind of like looked him up, and I am a huge fan of him now. I really hope he wins, and Umar on the early prelims.
Yeah, I'm in touch with his PR manager at the moment. We're trying to get him booked on the show. So if I get him on the show, I'll send him your way. I'll tell him you want to talk. For sure. Yeah, he's that's gonna be a crazy fight because you got to remember the Giant Stefan. His last fight. He got kicked in the dick twice. And then the second time, the ref came over and looked at him. He was like, we can call it. And he was like, nah, let's do it. And like everyone was like clapping. They were like, that's awesome, dude. Thanks for getting up.
He's 6'9" too. Like, that's crazy.
He
that's
got
a body to fight.
He got up and immediately got knocked out after getting hit in the groin the second time.
No way.
That's how his fight ended. So if he could have just said, I can't go, which he honestly, in his face, you could tell he just wasn't with it. And it stood up. The guy, it sucked, but I honestly think he should have just said no contest. He should have said, I can't continue. That's what should have happened.
Man.
I mean, yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, and it wasn't the other guy's fault. I mean, Stefan's just only almost 7 foot, like you said. Like, when you throw a knee to the body, that's not the body there. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah. That's like, you know what I mean? As high as like a knee. Like.
It's crazy. But yeah, that fight card's gonna be amazing. You also got Walt Harris. Yes. Walt Harris had a great fight against Overeem. Unfortunately, Overeem rallied and came back in that fight. Alexander Volkov will be a great match for him. You got Phil.
Yes.
You got Phil Halls, who was just recently signed to the UFC through Contender Series this past season. So that's going to be a great fight. I'm not sure about Jacob Malcon. I'm not really sure. He's 4-0 though, so
that's who I was trying to look at. I don't know.
Yeah, and then I always botch his name. Forgive me, everybody. But I hate it. Magnog Akalab. How do you pronounce that? I don't know. I always mess it up. But he's a beast. He is a beast. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to that fight. That guy has some extreme power. I'm really surprised he's the first fight on the card. Or the
38-second knockout last fight.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a beast. Yeah. And that's the thing. I understand what Dana and Sean Shelby and the matchmakers are doing by putting these fighters back to back and like mixing them in with newer fighters. But you got to give these guys some credit, man. Like, no offense to the women in this fight, because I love the women division, but like Lauren Murphy versus Cynthia, like how they should be the opener. But I don't know. I just think they got to put some more respect on these people's names and move them up the list. Like Phil Halls' Contender Series. Why is he the third fight of the night?
Yeah, I think they should switch that with the light heavyweight bout. The one we couldn't say his name right. Yeah. They should be up, and then keep the list the same, like you said.
Oh, I see why they did it. Because it would have been light heavyweight to heavyweight. They try to they don't like close divisions going back. They don't like two heavyweights coming back to back. That's just not what they do.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Which sucks because that also happened with the last card last week with what you call it? Not last week. 2 weeks ago, Holly Holm, because Jermaine Durandamine, I thought she should have been the co-main against Juliana Pena. But they didn't want back-to-back women's fights, so they put Jorgen De Castro and Carlos Felipe there. Which
Yeah,
I
okay,
understand what they're doing, but
yeah,
you got. I
100%.
mean, that's Jermaine Durand to me. She should not be the one before the co-main event. Like, what are they doing? But I understand.
Definitely.
I understand. But all right, so back to your state title win. So you had a dream after you won state that you didn't win. Is that true?
Yeah, so that was like I can't remember if that was right before or right after, to be honest. But yeah, like I don't know. I just was like thought I lost for some reason, and like I woke up and I was like, dude, like I lost. Can't I was like I suck. Like I think to myself, and then I like kind of went downstairs. It had to be after because when I went downstairs and I was like, there's like the bracket and stuff, and I was like, wait. I was like, I won. Like, let's go. Like, I was all
Yeah.
hyped
It
again.
just didn't set
Because
in,
I get
man. I mean, it's a huge
no.
accomplishment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I think like it was such a build up for my senior year. Like DC always said, if I never won state, it would be like, well, on the Gilroy High Wrestling, we have a wall of all the state champs, and you have to win state, and you like put you up there and all that. And he was like, it would be a crime for you not to be up there. And I was like, definitely, like, because of like if I never won state and I was never on that wall, and yeah, I was still like a #1 kid in the country, and like all these other little accolades that come with it, you know. And luckily, I think like that's what maybe made me have the dream because I was kind of low key pressured. Like I have to win state this year. Like I gotta win state, but at the same time, I was also like, I know I'm gonna win state. Like there's no way I'm losing. Like I refuse to lose type thing. And
Yeah.
luckily, I won it. Had that dream, and it was false. So
I mean, yeah, that's all that matters that you actually took it home. I mean, and not a lot of fight. I mean, you got to have that confidence. Not a lot of. I mean, only one person can say I'm the #1 ranked wrestler coming out of high school.
and honestly, when it comes to confidence for me, my junior year, well, my whole high school career, I found I was not like a confident guy coming off onto the mat. I would be like, what if I lose? What if I do this? What if I do this? Type kind of guy. And Kyle Driscoll, who I'm actually really close with Kyle Driscoll. We talk all the time. So he got me like
Cool dude.
reading books about like meditation and mindfulness meditation stuff. And I always tell people, but some people think like I'm crazy, like that don't work. But that stuff works like 15 to 30-minute meditations. Like you can find them on YouTube. You close your eyes, listen to it, and it tells you to be like act like let negative thoughts come into your head and think of them as balloons. Like they're thoughts you're gonna have, but they aren't who you are. Those
Exactly.
aren't real, like stuff like that. Because of course you're gonna have thoughts like that, but you got to be able to disconnect yourself from those. And Kyle Driscoll helped me a ton with that, and that is something that made me become honestly #1 kid in the country, one of the best kids, best recruits in the country. Because realistically speaking, you can only get so much better in wrestling in the 8 months that I from my junior year to pretty much or 12 months, 8 to 12 months. Like you can only get so good. After that, it just becomes really mental, and that's where it came from. And because I did the same exact moves that I did my junior year, I had the same coaches, I did the same sprints. It's just I think I was more prepared mentally.
Yeah. And that's completely understandable, and it makes sense, and I think it shows. I mean, obviously it shows. I mean, I mean, you're at Michigan State. Michigan State's a very good wrestling program, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very,
we're 14th in the country this year, I
yeah, yeah.
believe, as a team. So we're up there.
We'll get into Michigan State in just one sec. Um, but I wanted to talk to you about this because I didn't see the results for this, and I read
Mhm.
about it. The Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic. It's supposed to be top high school
Okay.
wrestlers versus Team USA.
So it'd be Team USA versus Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania is known as like the toughest wrestling state. So you get the best wrestler at the weight from Pennsylvania, and then they recruit the top out of the rest of the country. They'll build a team and then have them duel. But so I was supposed to wrestle Ed Scott, who's the #2 kid in the country at
Yeah,
my
that's what I
weight,
read.
and so I'm going to the airport with my dad, and I'm driving over there. It's in San Francisco, so it's a little far. We get to San Francisco, and my dad gets a call, and they're like, "Hey, due to COVID-19, we're not gonna have it, blah blah blah, and all this stuff." So it got
Wow.
canceled on my way to the airport.
So it was that? Do you know if that was before or after the NBA postponed? Because for me,
That was before.
okay, wow, that's insane. Because for me, the pivotal point in sports and entertainment and just in general living like life. It was after the NBA, like Mark Cuban, they showed the camera and like he was like stunned, like they're canceling the season for now or postponing it. To
Yeah.
me, that was the point. It was like, okay then, and then the UFC stopped, and then just all
Then
stuff. March
everything. It
Madness,
happened so fast.
dude. Not
Yeah,
having
so
March Madness, what?
that was
I mean,
trash.
we kind of
That
forgot
sucked.
about it because there's been, I mean, but I was talking to Kyle about this, Kyle Driscoll, and
Hmm.
knock on wood, it sucks, but COVID actually helped the UFC a lot. There's never been a year where we've had back to back to back to back to back. Last year, in 2019,
Yes.
I think the most weeks in a row where we had UFC was 8 weeks, and that's not including
Hmm.
Contender Series. Like we've been like blessed this year. I mean, it's been fights every
Oh,
weekend.
there's every week, and they're good
I hope
fights.
it stays like this. I hope it never changes, even with
Same.
fans. I don't care. Like, even if Dano wants to have these low fight card nights that probably won't
Hmm.
sell big amounts of crowds, just throw them at the
There's
Apex.
yeah,
Throw them at the
they're
Apex for
so
the
fun
night.
to watch.
I don't care if there's people there or not. I forgot. Now it sucks because I was supposed to go to that Cody Garbrandt and Ngannou fight in Columbus because I live in
Oh,
Ohio, and then that got
uh-huh.
canceled. That because I was like, finally the UFC is coming close to me. Like I can actually
Yeah,
get to a
exactly.
great card. Cody Garbrandt's return and Ngannou, and then just got
I was
canceled.
dying. I wanted to go to a Habib's fight against Ferguson when it was initially happening,
Where
then
was
all
that
the
originally
COVID
at?
stuff. Forget, to be honest, but I was just gonna fly out and
I
go.
feel it,
Because
man.
the last fight I've gone to was DC Jones too,
Really?
I believe. Yeah.
You didn't go to DC's the first two Stipe fights?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, we were like like in our season.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we were like practicing and stuff. So we weren't that was the last fight I've gone to from because it was right there in LA and I went up. That was honestly that was a great card. Sucked that he lost, but it was fun.
Yeah,
Except for the Tyron Woodley fight that night was terrible.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, DC. I really wish he could have got the title back
Sad.
this go around against Stipe. I wanted to. I mean I love Stipe. He's from my state. Lives up in Cleveland. Great guy. Firefighter. Volunteer firefighter. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but man, I wanted DC to get that. I
Yeah,
wanted him to
yeah.
get that so bad, man. But it was a great fight. It
Um,
was a great fight.
it was a good fight.
All right. So like we said, you're number one wrestler, uh, ranked coming out of high school. What made you choose Michigan State? Because I have a hunch you could have went to a lot of places. But what was it about Michigan State that led you there?
I know a lot of California boys. Well, not a lot, I should say. There's like five total. So there's three California kids at the time here. One of them dated my sister for a long time, like 6 years. So we're really close. My sister graduated from here. Um, I mean, just seeing how because the coach is new. I mean, I think it's only like his fifth, sixth year. Seeing how he took the program from being one of the worst programs in the Big Ten to becoming a top 20 team in just over 4 years, 4 or 5 years is huge. They showed a lot of interest in me too when I was below the top 10 in the country. I was like 15, 16. They were looking at me. A lot of big schools didn't look at me until I was number one because I say they were recruiting me for my ranking, not for me. But with that being said, I think it really came down to the environment. Guys are family out here. Everybody's super close, which is awesome. The second thing would be that the coaches really care about me out here. They want what's best for me. I'm just not another number one kid in the country coming in like they had last year or something. They truly believe me. They're like, they wanted me when I wasn't as good. So of course, like it was like a bonus to get me, as a senior, like bonus for me to get extra good type thing. And yeah, and I'd rather be on a team that's gonna be good. I'd rather be on the team that upsets the big teams rather than being on the big teams that just win all the time. To be honest.
I have some feeling there's gonna be some upsets. As long as the season does happen. Any news on
Yeah.
the season happening?
As of right now, it looks like we will. Schedule wise, I guess they're still working some things out, and we should know shortly. It has to go through a lot of different people, I guess, to get cleared with guidelines and all that. So we're really relying on if football could get it done, which they play next weekend. If football
Yeah.
can have a successful season, then we should be 100% in. With it being probably a Big Ten conference thing only, like we only
Yeah.
duel Big Tens, which is perfect for wrestling because Big Ten is the toughest conference for wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. So are you in a dorm right now?
I am. This is my little dorm. There's supposed to be a mattress right here, but I threw it on the floor because after practice I get so tired I just lay on it, and I don't want to. So I have my bed, which is a little higher or a little shorter than that, and I don't want to climb, so I just drop on the
Hey,
floor
there's
right
nothing
here by
wrong
my.
with that. You gotta do it, and it's cooler on the ground too. So
Oh yeah, it gets hot in these dorms,
I
but
bet.
luckily it's cooling down outside. I woke up, it was like 37 degrees, and me and my friend from California, Tristan Lujan, he's a two-time state champ from Selma, California, really good. Um, we're like in the elevator going down, and I wonder how cold it is. Like 37 degrees. I've never really felt that. Like Gilroy gets down to like 50s.
Yeah.
And I go outside, I was like a long sleeve and like some joggers, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, this is miserable. Like this sucks.
Yeah.
Like this weather's
Is
cold.
this
And
your
like coming from me, I've never felt that.
yeah? So this is your first time like in Michigan, like experiencing the seasons and stuff.
Yeah, first
Oh,
time here. Like I've came for short trips, kind of
have
with
fun
my
with the
when my
lake
sister
effect.
was here. Dude, yeah. And everybody's like, dude, it's still nice. We can wear
Yeah,
shorts. I'm
I
like,
mean to be honest with you, I'm from Cincy, and us in Michigan or Cincinnati, we have pretty much the same weather, except for it gets a
mhm.
lot worse in Michigan because of the lake effect. But dude, like it it can be like 30 degrees one morning, and then by the end of the day, it's like 70, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like it just happens.
That's weird.
Like it's gonna go from a below zero, or not below zero, yeah, below freezing to up back to 50s, like to like just jacket weather. It
That's
happens.
weird.
It's gonna happen, but I'm gonna pray for you for those winters up there because
I hope it's not a bad winter. I hope
it's
not.
always a
I don't
bad
even know
winter
the
in
snow.
Michigan, dude.
My friends were like, "Do you have like snow gear?" I was like, "I have a windbreaker, bro. That's it."
You better
Like,
get on Columbia or NorthFace.com right now or something. You better
yeah,
get locked and
start
loaded.
ordering some stuff.
Cause I've been living in this stuff my whole life, and I'm not gonna lie. Still, when it gets to that peak of winter, man, and you go outside, there's nothing like. I remember when I was in college, I went to Miami University in in
Hmm.
Oxford, and like I remember it was the lowest it's been like in our area and the longest. And I took a shower, dried off, and I started walking to class. And I got to class, and I got long hair, and I just started feeling my hair, and my hair actually froze. That's how cold it was by the time I
That's
got to class,
crazy.
and I was just like
If my
shaking.
curls froze, I would
Dude,
freak
it's
out.
gonna
I'd be like,
happen.
"What the
If you don't wear a
heck?"
hat, it's gonna happen to you if you take a shower. We look like we almost got kind of like the same kind of hair. You might be a little bit thinner, but like it's gonna happen, dude. And like you're gonna be
That's
pulling out
crazy.
curls of ice crystals that are just pulling them out.
I can't even
You
imagine
better
that.
start
I'm
driving.
not.
You better drive to class.
Yeah.
But yeah, they if it gets too. But how is classes working there? Do you actually go to class or is it
Not at
online?
the moment. So right now it's all online. Spring is supposed to be possibly they're gonna possibly get some classes depending on, of course, what class it is. Get people in, so they'd be like modified, online, some in person. But I think most of my classes next semester are supposed to be in person. But right now they're kind of cool just being online. They're a little harder just
Yeah.
because like personally I feel like it's a little harder to pay attention when it's just like in
When
your
it,
room.
yeah.
It's easy to get distracted.
Understandable.
But at the same time, like when I got an 8 a.m. class, I'm like, I'm just gonna lay in my bed,
Yeah.
like turn on my computer. So
Do you have to
that's the
do
plus
Zoom
side.
or no?
Yeah, it's on Zoom, but we
Okay.
don't have to turn on our camera.
Okay, that's
Some
good.
classes do, some don't.
Okay.
So that's cool.
That's so interesting, dude. It's just I could not imagine being in college during this. That would be
Yeah,
insane. So
it is different.
so are you just so are only athletes on campus or can other kids be there too? Hello, hello. There you are. We lost you for a second. Can
Okay.
are just wrestlers or not just are just athletes on campus? Or are there other students that have the option?
So they recommended for like non-athletic students to like not come on if they don't have to. However, I don't know exactly how many, but I've met a few kids here who were able to move in still even though they weren't athletes. But I would say 95% of kids here are only athletes
It's crazy.
for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
everybody you meet, it's like just an athlete.
I mean, it's probably dope for you guys, to be honest with you. It's probably just get the whole campus to yourself. Do you have to stay in your room most of the time, or are you allowed to leave and go do stuff?
No, you're allowed to leave and do stuff. We have a lot of regulations, of course, which is good because that's the only reason we're going to be able to be here. But I mean, it's kind of like our side of campus because not every dorm hall is open because they don't
Yeah,
need them all.
exactly.
So there's only a few open. And it's kind of right by the football field, right by Smith Center,
Yeah,
like our academic center and all that.
yeah.
So like we almost have like our own little, I guess you can call it like a bubble for the athletes.
Nice.
So like, but you can go out whenever,
That's
go
good.
walk wherever.
That's
I go to
good.
the calf like probably 5-6 times a day and eat food. So it's like unlimited swipes. So I just eat. 'Cause I'm
Nice.
bored.
I mean, yeah. I remember my meal plan card. I would just go in swipe buffet.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't even have to think about it. Just pull out that ID.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. But yeah, so you kind of answered this question earlier. This is my last question I got for you.
Mhm.
And you can give me the same answer if you want. But deep down, do you think you'll transfer over to MMA after college?
I think I will. I think I'm going to try just because at first I was like, I don't know if I want to fight. I don't know. Like it's rough. But I think it's been a part of my life for so long. And I do love like watch fighting. I trained not like crazy, crazy train, but like I've done mitts, I've worked on kicks, I've done a lot of different types of training with DC just as workouts,
Mm-hmm.
where I've actually learned quite a bit of stuff. And I think I probably will. I mean, I don't see why I shouldn't at least try because I'd rather start fighting than start like Olympic style wrestling. I'd rather start fighting for sure. And I think at that point, if I have my degree, I could get a job whenever. If fighting wasn't to work out, I could go
Yeah.
get a job.
So you're not
So
interested in going to the Olympics at all?
I would rather fight personally.
You don't think that could change at all?
I think it could.
I mean, you got
I just think the
2020
difference
coming up.
is
I mean, 2021 now coming up. I don't know how that works out when you got to qualify. I don't know what that. I mean,
I think the difference is it's a different style of wrestling.
really? Okay.
So as the United States, we wrestle folk style in high school and college. It's folk style. The rest of the world does freestyle and Greco. And
Okay.
so if you were to go to the Olympics, you have to start wrestling freestyle. And I just started wrestling freestyle. This is my second year.
What's the main
DC
difference?
So a few main differences are if you get pushed out, it's a point. If you get taken down, you want to flatten out. You don't want to build up and you don't get a point for
And this
escaping.
is and
You
what
want to,
and which one is this?
this is freestyle.
This is freestyle. Okay.
Yeah, this is what the rest of the world does. This is what Olympics do. So you want to, if you get taken out, you belly out because every time your back gets exposed, it's 2 points for the other guy.
Oh, so any space,
And
any gap, or any space in between?
so yeah, so like say I'm flat right now, and then they turn and I break 90, my shoulders break 90, and they're towards the mat. That's 2 points for the other
Oh,
guy,
interesting.
and he's allowed to lock his hands. Like that's a big thing.
Oh, you can lock your hands in freestyle?
Yeah,
I didn't
so
know.
that's
So
why like Habib and them like do that because they're naturally that's how it is
yeah.
everywhere else.
Damn, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah, so there's a bunch of
crazy.
little things. Those are the main
I mean,
ones.
it makes sense
So
too.
that's like it's like a way different. I mean, it's still wrestling, but it's almost like a little different sport, you know?
Yeah.
The rounds instead of doing 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, you're doing 2 3-minute rounds. Instead of going top and bottom in between rounds, you're not. It's on your feet the whole time.
Interesting.
So I think it would be with this only. I think if over the next coming years, well, we'll see. I'm wrestling at Junior World Team Trials next month,
Really?
the 13th. Yeah, so I'll be there
Nice.
and see how it goes. That's freestyle. So
I
for
have a
all
feeling
I
you're gonna
know,
do. You're
within the
gonna do
next
pretty
couple of
well.
years, I could become a better freestyle wrestler and then be like, I want to go to the Olympics, and then I want to start fighting. So
Yeah. I
it's a
mean,
day by day thing. You just got to see how it works out.
I had this conversation with Driscoll, and he agreed with me that I believe that going into the MMA, being a wrestler, learning stand up is a way bigger advantage than going in as a striker and then learning ground game. I mean, look at Ngannou at first. Ngannou's probably one of the best boxer strikers that we have in the UFC. His strength is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But look at his loss against Stipe. He got tired out.
Yes.
He just couldn't. He had no cardio. But when you're a wrestler, I mean, you're used to like. I mean, unless you're fighting someone like Khabib, I mean, you're not his age and he's out of your weight class. I mean, you're gonna get gassed. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I see that as like I'm not a fighter, but I see that as an easier into the MMA. And
Transition.
some people don't see it as that because they're like, well, if he's not a striker, what's he gonna do? I mean, what do you mean? What is he gonna do? Like,
Yeah, you have points
yeah,
for taking people down.
yeah.
Khabib takes everybody down and
And it's ridiculous.
wins.
I mean, I hate Kobe Covington, and I will say it on air. I hate Kobe Covington, but that man
Mhm.
knows what he's doing against the cage and on the ground. I will give it to him.
Yes.
He knows exactly what he's doing. He's very effective at it. It's very boring, but at the same time, I applaud him
He
for
knows
it.
how to win.
Yeah, he knows how to win. But, I mean, I will give it to
Definitely.
him. He did stand up against Usman most of that fight, and he got his jaw broke.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
like, literally
I thought
broke.
him and Woodley would be better, but then again, Woodley hasn't fought the same.
So, I
I can't
think,
even remember the last time
unfortunately,
I seen Woodley fight good.
I think Woodley is he's not even a gatekeeper anymore. He's just,
He should retire. Personally,
yeah, it
I
sucks,
think.
man.
I mean, at the end of the fight, the commentators were saying, I forget who it was exactly. They're saying, you know, you got to think to yourself after a fight like that, like, what are you really
It's not
fighting
just that
for
fight.
at this
His
point?
last 3 fights, he's lost 15 rounds
No.
straight.
Yes,
15
he
rounds.
just doesn't look
He
like
hasn't
he
won
has
a
that.
round in 3 fights. T
It's
Wood
like he
was
has no like drive to just like he's not throwing many punches anymore.
yeah.
He's not exploding forward like he used to.
And you
Like
thought it would have
it's
came
almost
out
like he's in
against
there just to be there.
Covington. Like Covington's the perfect punching bag for let's see what you got. You want to put him out, do it. But
Yes,
Covington broke
but
his
he
rib
gets
with his grip, and that sucks. And that's how it had to
yeah.
end. It
I
sucks that
think
he's gonna have to go out that way though. It really does suck.
exactly that because if I think back at it, I'm thinking the very first time I seen Woodley was at the John Jones DC 2 fight. I'm pretty sure they were on the same card. He was fighting uh a really
Publicly.
good ground game guy. I forget who it was, but like they're showing Woodley's highlights, and I'm like, dude, this guy is phenomenal. Like his power, everything, and then they come in, and I think it was one of like the least strikes thrown
Really.
at that time. Yes,
Trying to find it.
and I was, yeah. Let's see.
What year was this? I can't
This
remember.
was it was against Damian Maya.
Oh yeah, that's when he had the unanimous decision, I believe.
Yes,
Oh, nice.
and
Yeah.
like that fight,
Yeah,
and
that was
I
Cormier
remember,
versus Jones too. Yeah, you're right.
and I was like, it's just seeing him, and then like every fight after, I was like, this guy's good. Like he can knock out
Yeah.
anybody. And then it slowly went down, and then now I'm like, dude, like it's just boring watching him because
But
like
you
he
got
has
you
no
got
drive. I feel like.
we do have to give him respect because this is his resume right now. Kevin
Oh, he has a
Gastelum,
resume.
Robbie Lawler, Stephen Thompson back to back, Damian Maya, Darren Till, and then he lost to Kamaru Usman, and then he lost to Gilbert Burns, and then he lost to Covington, which sucks because those are
Yes.
the 3 biggest names right now in that division, and he said, let's get it. And that sucks that he got destroyed like that, but it makes sense. It makes sense. These are the new dogs in the
Yes.
yard.
Like he was. I mean, he fights like you said. Like he fights the best fighters there is. And I think a couple years ago, maybe if he fought those same guys, he may be in it more. But I think he's just not
Yeah.
enough no more for some of
After
these
that
guys
Darren Till
like
fight,
Burns.
it's just I
After
can't.
after that fight. But I thought he had won the title at some point, but did he not?
When?
In general, Woodley, did he ever win
Yeah,
the championship? Or did
he took the title from Robbie Lawler, and then
okay,
he
that's right.
defended against Stephen Thompson twice, and then Damian Maya, then Darren Till, and then he lost to Kamaru Usman.
Okay, that was correct.
Yeah, yeah.
I was trying to look it up right now, and I was like, I could have sworn he had the
Yeah.
belt.
Because
See, I mean,
sorry. The Stephen
no,
Thompson
you're good.
fight was a draw. He didn't win that. That's why they came back and rematched it. But he still had the title because it was a draw.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
I mean, he's a
Like,
beast,
I mean,
man.
Homie had the belt, so I mean, he was a champ.
Just
I
new
think it's
dogs in the
hard
yard.
though for when you're a champion like that, and then like say you maybe have one bad fight, then you're like, I'll be back the next fight or something like that. And I think it's hard to let go.
Like
Hard to let
Cerrone,
go
man.
for it.
Cerrone is probably downright my favorite UFC fighter. I mean, I have like a handful,
That guy
but
could scrap.
he
He's
was
he's
just he
retired,
lost
too.
4 in a row, and then he just tied against Nico Price. I call it the Chuck Liddell syndrome. No one else calls it this, but I call it the Chuck Liddell syndrome. Chuck Liddell
Mhm.
wouldn't stop. He kept going, and he
Yeah.
got knocked out pretty bad a couple times. Then Dana White stepped in and said, "You got to stop." We don't want Dana White to have to step in with Cerrone. He needs to
No.
stop. He has the most fights in UFC history, the most wins, I
Yeah.
believe. Just stop, dude. Like, It's crazy when you think
Like,
about Donald Cerrone. Let me pull this up. If he didn't lose if he would have won his last 5 fights, his record would have been this. Let me get it for you. It's crazy to think
he
about this. Go
he
ahead.
was also like if you go out now, you're known as just one of the baddest guys around.
Yep.
That even though you may not have won recently or something, like he's been fighting the top guys and like in there, and like you said, the amount of fights he's had it's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep. Where's it at? I gotta find this because these stats are crazy. If you really think about,
Oh,
he could have been the greatest. He still is one of the greatest of all time. But yeah. So think about this. So he's at 36 wins now and 15 losses. If he wins his last 5 fights, he's 41-10.
that's insane.
41-10. 36 is already enough, but 41-10, 10 KOs, 17 submissions, 9 decisions. What?
Yeah, that's
What?
insane.
Like, I mean, and he lost to the likes of Tony Ferguson, of course, Justin Gaethje, which is Conor McGregor, Anthony Pettis. Like, these aren't names that you should be disappointed in.
No, these are top contenders at that time.
Yeah, he was the gatekeeper.
And still, yes.
Even though that Conor McGregor fight, that was some BS. I don't know what happened there. And to this day, I think something happened with that Justin Gaethje fight. I won't say it on podcast, but I'll text you about it after. I think there's some stuff going on. Because that Justin Gaethje fight in Cowboy, he didn't. Yeah, I'll let you know. It just didn't seem right. It didn't seem right at all.
Yeah, I want to know.
Yeah.
Isn't who's fighting McGregor? Didn't McGregor?
So how it started was Dustin Poirier tweeted at. He said, "Hey, Conor." Conor replied back, "Hey, what's up?" And they basically just were going back and forth. Said, "Let's fight." Conor said, "All right, the UFC's been dodging me. Let's do a charity fight. Give your charity to Good Fight Foundation $500,000, and we'll do it in Ireland." And they were like, "Cool." Dustin was down. Then Sean Shelby and Dana White caught wind of it, and they're like, "Oh, hell no. We're not doing that. Fuck that. No."
This is our money.
Yeah. And then, so basically they came to Conor, or they messaged him and Dustin. And originally Conor wanted the Usman Burns, because Usman Burns is canceled again. I know. He wanted yeah.
Know that.
They got canceled again for some reason. We don't know yet, but yeah. So they want that fight. He wanted that fight or something like that. But they put like Amanda Nunes or something on it, or Shevchenko or someone like that. I can't remember. But then they came back and said, "All right, January 23rd." And Conor was kind of upset, but he's like, "Well, take it." Dustin's accepted it. Conor said he'll still donate $500,000, which is actually gonna go to DC's and Poirier's hometown, and they're gonna build a boxing gym there for the kids.
What is it? Lafayette? Is that what
Lafayette, New Orleans.
That's awesome.
Louisiana, not New Orleans. Sorry, yeah. I mean, yeah, Conor stepping up. I mean, he banked in from the Mayweather fight, and he's about to bank in again from this Pacquiao fight. I just don't know when the Pacquiao fight's going to happen now, because that was supposed to be January or February.
Yeah. Like, why is... Yeah. And he's going to make way more money on that fight
He's
than
gonna
he
make
would this fight.
Stupid.
I mean, boxing making so much money.
And now he has...
If I'm him, I would have cashed out after Floyd Mayweather and said, "I'm done."
He tried to. He's retired 4 times. 3 times. But he just keeps coming back, and I mean, I hope he comes back. I mean, I'm indifferent about Conor. I'm just still upset. I still have a bad taste in my mouth with Conor ever since he came into the UFC and destroyed the UFC rankings. To this day, he destroyed the rankings.
I was so excited though when Habib just choked him out.
Oh my! And it wasn't even a choke. He was just putting so much stress on his chin. Yeah. He had him right here, and just And it's that jaw was being pulled down, plus the muscle. Oh, and when he stepped over him and was talking shit to him.
I was like, yes, sir.
Everything after that was too much, though. We will say that, but other than that,
but
at the same time, I understand.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm very indifferent when it comes to Conor, but I understand what happened and how it had to go down, and I respect his choice. And he took the punishment for it, and we're on to this fight in 1 week. That's all I got.
I wish that UFC 254 was supposed to have Islam. I think it's like Makhachev. That's what he said. The one that Russian Tyson at me. Yeah. I thought he was supposed to fight, but it says that they didn't find a opponent for him.
Really?
So that sucks.
People are probably backing out from Habib and all his friends.
He's a top contender, I believe. Like, he's up there in the rankings, I think.
Yeah.
That's why I was like hyped. I was like, you got Habib. I'm pretty sure it's his little brother. I'm like pretty positive that Umar and then Islam all on the same card. Like that was dope. Like that'd be sick to have like me and my
And
boys on the
Magno.
same card. You know.
I mean, even the
But I mean,
prelims a nice little touch up. You got Alex Oliveira on there, like you said. We got Bam Bam, Casey Kennedy, Nathaniel Wood. I mean, it's a good card next week. But let's not
it's a
sleep on
great
this card tonight. You know, you got Jessica
No, that's gonna
Andrade,
be a good card.
Brian Ortega, Chon Sun Dong. Like, oh boy! Did you see Brian Ortega
This,
shaved his hair?
yes, bro, you look so different.
Dude, it
I was
pissed me
not
off.
expecting that.
It pissed me off because on Twitter people were trying to say he cut his hair to make weight. It's not what happened at
No,
all.
he
Like,
did it to donate. He
to
donated his hair,
locks of
correct?
love. Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's like, bro, leave him
he
alone.
tweeted he was like, I never like have an issue with making weight.
Yeah.
Like I didn't need
It's
to come
Brian.
with
He's lost one time and won no contest.
Yes.
But his loss to Max was a great fight. That's one of my favorite fights.
Yeah.
I say this fight or that fight's one of my favorite fights of all time. But I remember every second of that fight. Every second. It was just something that's engraved.
Was
Just
Korean Zombie's last fight the one where he got knocked out at the end, or was that not out? Was that not him? I could be wrong.
let me look.
TB. Let me see.
Let me look. I'm
I
looking
feel
at
like
his thing now.
he's small compared to Brian Ortega, though. Not gonna lie.
But he has a better striking game. I mean, only way Brian Ortega's really gonna win, if he can just tire him out on the ground and get a submission. I think Korean Zombie is just too fast. He's too fast. Where's it at? I want Korean Zombie stats, not Ortega's. Here we go. Yeah. His last fight.
Oh no, he won one.
He won it.
Yeah, it says he won his last two fights, and then okay, it says this was the one he lost to was Yair Rodriguez
Yeah.
with the
Interesting.
elbow. at the
Oh
end.
yes, I do
He
remember
was like
that.
winning the fight, I believe. And
Yeah.
then at the end, like he just got just like
I mean, Yair Rodriguez
hit the right
is an amazing kickboxer. That boy
I didn't know
nasty.
that.
Oh yeah, he's great. On UFC 4, I use Yair Rodriguez a lot. He's nasty on UFC 4. So is Holly Holmes, surprisingly. Holly Holmes is buffed on that
I
game.
mean,
Um,
I've just played with DC the whole time. Not gonna
really?
lie.
You gotta get.
DC, and I played with who was it?
What system are you on?
I know I played DC. Me and my friend played DC and Stipe as each other like 6 times in a row until I won. Like,
Yeah, you gotta try Adesanya out, man. Ever since they gave him 5 stars, he's nasty. In
I
the
was gonna
game.
say, did they update it?
Yeah, so DC, I don't know if you know this, but he's actually the ratings adjuster for UFC. So,
I did not know that.
like with the case of Adesanya was a 4-star fighter. Daniel Cormier watched him fight against Paulo Costa, realized this kid's the real deal, dominated, called EA up, said, hey, 5 stars, rank up this, rank up that, add his kickings, and that's what he does. And he also lowers people. I mean, there's 5 stars in the game, or 4 now. Like it's Khabib, Amanda, Shevchenko, and then Adesanya now. Yep.
Reasonable. That's
I
deserved.
mean, you can't really. I think Stipe should be up there. I mean, he defeated DC, a legend.
He should.
I think he should.
And he has. I mean, his resume is really good.
Yeah.
Stipe's resume is insane.
Yeah. I hope
But
he fights Ngannou again. I really want to see that rematch.
yeah, I want to see if Jones goes up to heavyweight though at the same time.
I don't care about Jones at this point unless he fights
I
Adesanya
wanna
after he
see him
talked all
lose.
this. I want to see him fight Alexander again at heavyweight since they're both in heavyweight now. I mean, because once Alexander retired, DC put out that message, said, you gave me some of my best bouts. I would love to fight you again whenever that time comes. Boy, the time has come. You're in heavyweight. He's in heavyweight. You got to... Only thing I'm going to be upset with if they put John Jones immediately at the top of the ranks. And I understand that they might have to, but make him fight first. Make him fight one of those top 5 guys. Don't just throw him up there. I would hate to see that. That'd be so disrespectful.
When you move up, you almost have to take like a pre-fight. Like
Yeah.
let him showcase. Like let's
And
make
that
sure.
should be against Alexander.
Yes.
Why not? Alexander's
That'd be a
not ranked
great
in
fight.
heavyweight. That would be amazing. We get to see those two at it again. Even though Alexander looked terrible in that last fight. Boy, did he look bad. I felt awful, but hopefully he snaps it back in. But who do you got?
That would be good.
Who do you got tonight for the main event?
For the Ortega, I'm taking Ortega.
Same. I go through the cards here in a minute, but you heard it here first. I am picking Ortega.
I think
he's gonna get him on the ground.
Fight, though.
Zombie is. I mean, they call him the Korean Zombie for a reason because he doesn't go down. I mean, he went down a couple fights ago, but
that was a fluke. It was a fluke deal, though. Like that was like, come on.
Hey, to me, if you get knocked out, you get knocked out.
100%.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, why am I blanking? That was at the minute when when they were laughing and they were like, "Let's go," and they just started going crazy, and Rodriguez spun around. Yes. Oh, how did I forget about that? That was a crazy. People talk about the Jaquan Buckley being one of the best knockouts of all time. I still think Jorge Masvidal's knockout is better. Anderson Silva's knockout against Edwin Barbosa's head kick, but that knockout against the Korean Zombie from Rodriguez, that 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah, it said it was at 4:59. The clock, like it was about. Fight was over or something. Whatever it was.
And the crazy thing is, if that buzzer goes off and he doesn't hit the canvas, it doesn't count as a knockdown. So the judges can't judge that. They can only judge that as a significant strike, unless you have a lenient judge like, "Oh, I didn't see the time," you know.
Yeah, that's how I think. But that's what I'm saying. That was like a
that was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy.
But all it takes is like something like that to ruin a fighter's chin.
Yep. To be honest with you, it sucks, but I hope his chin's not ruined that bad because I want to see a fight tonight.
Exactly. I want to see people be getting hit hard and staying up.
You got Jessica Andrade. I don't know if you know her story, but she was the champion, and she's the Brazilian. She went to China when they had the first card in China to fight Weili Zhang, and then lost to Weili Zhang in China. She took her title to Weiling's territory just to be nice. And then lost to her. I don't know if you watched the fight. That fight ended in like 40-something seconds. It
was that fast?
Yeah, dude, Weili Zhang. I don't know where she's been at this year, but Jesus Christ, I cannot wait to see her again. I need to see Weili Zhang versus Rose. That's what I want to see.
Damn, I'm gonna go and watch that after this. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, dude, that fight. I mean,
who's
it's gonna take you a couple minutes.
Do I know this person?
Who?
Saeed Nurmagomedov.
Which one are you on?
Is that his name? I'm on the
prelims
for tonight.
Let me see. Ooh, that is? To be fair, that last name is very common. That is true. It is a decently common name. It doesn't look common to us, but it is. Let me look it up.
That's true. So he's 14-2? Wow. With a round 1 knockout, 51 seconds.
Man, those dudes scare me. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. They scared the crap out of me.
Man. They train the hardest I've ever seen people train.
I mean, Khabib used to wrestle bears as a kid.
Yeah. I'm over here like having to put like a helmet on a skateboard, and they were like, "No, just go wrestle a bear."
What were you doing when you were 10? I was wrestling bears. Like, the videos are crazy. That dude's just insane. Also, R.I.P. to Khabib's dad. I never got to that originally. Great guy.
That was sad.
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But yeah, so Jessica Andrade, Brian Ortega, James Krause, who was actually one of the guys I had on. He's a coach for Jeff Molina out at what's their gym called? I can't remember. Forgot the name of it. Wow, they're gonna hate me for that. But yeah, James Krause is in on short notice, which is awesome. But yeah, I'm excited for tonight.
Dude, there's gonna be
2 weeks, and then after Gaethje and them, Contender Series comes back. I'm so pumped for that.
It comes back? I hope Driscoll gets brought back. I think he will.
So I was talking to him about it, and he was telling me that he's high on the list for short notice. So he probably won't need to go back to the Contender Series. I don't think so. I mean, it wouldn't hurt unless he lost, but that boy need to be in the UFC. Driscoll's nasty.
To be in the UFC. He's cold.
I really do like Driscoll. He's a cool dude, super laid back guy, super nice, very down to earth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a lot of good things to say about you as always, but
that's my boy. I think he should be in the UFC, and I think following him should be Kretschmer, Kyle Kretschmer.
Yes.
I mean, his last
took the
fight,
words out of my mouth.
I think he won that fight 100%.
Yeah. They said he did, and it's just judges. Like it's.
Yeah, Jay. sometimes the judges be like, I don't
Judges
know
be on
what
some
those
bull
judges
crap.
saw, but
Even who was it on here that was telling? Who was I talking to about the referees being punished? Or Ryan Cosia was. He was like, dude, the referees, if they call a bad call, should be fined. He was like, if I can get fined, they should be able to get fined. And I agree with that. I don't think
that's yeah,
if you come out
100%.
here and you got two judges calling it a 29-27 and you come out of nowhere at 27, like, I mean, you can't. It just
Yeah, no.
you're sabotaging people,
Well,
and I think there is favoritism when it comes to it.
there is 100%. There's
100%.
bias for sure. No matter what they say, there is 100%.
And how
Which
do they know
sucks.
what's a significant strike and what's not? That always throws me off because sometimes the shortest jabs or hooks are the ones that are lethal. I mean, look at Anthony Pettis against Stephen Thompson. That flying Superman off the cage. That was so quick and was just like it popped his head back. But if it didn't knock him out, who knows if they would have called it a significant strike or not? You know what I mean?
It's hard to tell, and I don't know, like it's such like a personal judgment type thing, like an opinion when it comes to stuff like that, and it could throw the fight differently.
And even as a
that's why
fan, go ahead.
That's why I think like in the McGregor fight, I mean McGregor fight, I was thinking about his. In the Crutchmer fight, like I don't see what they saw in order for him to lose. Like I think he got the takedown in the first. He was winning by most significant strides. Everything in the first he won. The second he may have lost. The third, I think like I don't see how they've seen it. Like he's tagging him. He's putting in all the work. Of course he went for 2 takedowns, got stopped. But should he really be penalized that much when he's still putting in work versus the other guys just coming forward the whole time, but he's not putting in much damage?
Exactly.
So I thought it was an obvious win, but they said 28-29, all three judges.
Yep. I mean,
it's
the same thing happened with Shawar Blackledge. I don't know if you know who he is, but he was just on the show. He was on Contender Series. Mm-hmm. Great fighter, great career. He's 5-0 right now. But he dominated the first 2 rounds. And then that third round, he just played it smart. Like, he played back.
Yeah.
It was wrestle, and he won the fight, but Dana didn't give him a contract. He said, you laid off in the third round. What were you doing? If this was a real fight, he played it perfectly. Why would you threaten all that 10-minute great work you just did in those 10 minutes to come out and get hit with a wild overhand? There's no point.
Exactly.
And that sucks.
That's what's hard about the Contender Series. Yeah. You got to, like, it's not just win.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta
show up and you gotta put people on their feet. You gotta get people.
And in doing that, you could get yourself put on the canvas too. Like,
but that's what makes Contender Series so good because
because people brawl.
It's that urge. It's that one. It's that I need this. I'm here. I'm about to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And like that's
like
what
this is my time.
Exactly, and that's what Jeff Molina was telling me too. He was just like, I'm here. There's no nerves. I'm ready to get it in. Let's do it. And that's what. I mean, they want that contract. They're hungry for it, so they're going to go 100%. Out there and do everything they can to get that and secure it for their family.
And it makes for great fights. It does.
Oh, my God. It's so good. Sometimes they're better than the main events for those weekends. Like, dude,
I like watching it just because, like you said, like everybody's fighting. Like, it's their scrap. It's like watching, for example, in wrestling, it'd be like the round to place. Like, everybody wants a place, so everybody goes crazy hard that round. This is people to get into the UFC, like... Like, if I'm in that position,
like
I'm
Jimmy
Flick.
I would have never known about Jimmy Flick unless he did that crazy triangle in the third round. I don't know if you saw that, but you should go back and watch that Contender Series. That was insane. Like, it was so smooth out of nowhere. Like,
it was sick.
And that got him in the UFC. You know what I mean? It worked out for him.
All.
It worked out.
All it takes is crazy. Is like one little thing to impress Dana, and bam, you're in. 100%. Like, here you go.
And that one,
like O'Malley.
Oh, O'Malley with Snoop Dogg on at that time? Snoop Dogg was a commentator with Uriah Faber. Remember that? That's how it went viral. Because Snoop Dogg was like, boy, you just put that man to sleep or something like that. And like Uriah Faber's just like holding.
You're like,
because like
Snoop Dogg loves this guy.
For Snoop Dogg, he's like, it's a knockout. I've seen knockouts, but he didn't understand the magnitude of knockout. But when you looked at Uriah Faber's face, and he was just stunned. I mean, we all were. It was a star was born at that point. He still to this day might be the biggest star to come out of Contender Series and potentially the biggest star to come out of Contender Series.
Yes.
His following is
like
stupid.
His resume's not huge, but he's known so widely in the
and
UFC
he's so
already.
entertaining to watch, even when he's not landing. Like even when he throws a spinning back kick. You there? Hello?
My bad. Yeah, my bad.
Oh, you're good.
Somebody tried calling me.
No, you're good.
Can you see me now?
Oh yeah, we're good. Everything's fine. But yeah, when he tried to hit that spinning back kick, like even then, even when he missed, it's like like Jesus Christ, dude, like you're
He's so
quick.
entertaining to watch. He's quick.
Yeah.
He switches up his style.
He's almost as quick as
like,
Max Holloway, man.
Yes.
And
his he has such like a. I mean, he has like the spinning kicks, the flying knees, like stuff like that.
Everything.
Like, it's entertaining.
It's just his kryptonite's that foot.
Yes, I just want him to get back into it.
Verda, yeah,
I want to see him fight again.
I mean, I'll give it to Verda. I mean, he was quiet the whole time. He let Sean dye his hair to Ecuadorian flag. Didn't say anything about it. Just let this man do him and came out. And unfortunately, Sean didn't have any power because that foot was gone. He had no power on the back foot. It sucks, but that's what happens. And then, Herb stopped it. People said it was kind of early, but he did go out for like half a second. His eyes rolled in the back of his head after that elbow hit him. But he wasn't knocked out, but I think in correlation with his foot and he was tripping over it, there was no way he was going to get up from that position.
But I think it can make for a good O'Malley story. I mean, possibly.
Back, everyone's got to lose at some point. I think it's good he lost now.
Definitely.
I think
now he's going to come back, and hopefully he comes back with and the same fighting style, but just overall better. Like he worked harder. Let's just. I
want to see him get some wrestling game, man.
Yeah.
I need to see him on the ground to really like to see what he's about. Because in modern UFC in today's era, you can't just be a striker like we were saying. You can't just be a wrestler. You gotta have everything. Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, just every aspect of it is gonna help you in the long run, and you gotta grind for it.
That is, I am very curious to see him get taken down. Yeah, and actually, that would be, especially since against a high level wrestler or like a high level jiu-jitsu guy, like that's.
He did get taken down and got elbowed to the.
Yeah, last time he got taken down, he got knocked out. So.
But he was injured. He got knocked, taken down, whatever. But you know what I mean. But yeah,
that's funny.
Just some great stars coming up in the UFC. Hopefully, we'll see your name on one of these cards.
Hopefully, over time. Yes,
time, we'll love to see that. But yeah, man, I want to appreciate and thank you for coming on to the show. We're gonna break down this fight card here after you get off, and I'm gonna try to get out of here and catch these fights. I'm not sure what time they start.
Prelim started at 4.
What?
I can tell you right now.
Oh. They're an dude. That's like. Wait, dude, it's like midnight in Abu Dhabi.
Really?
Yeah,
dude. That late?
All these fights are during the night.
They're on the third fight in the prelims.
What? Crap. Wow, why did they start? Usually they start later when they're in Abu Dhabi. Like last week's card, the main event started at 10?
Yeah. Dude, it was like 3 a.m.
It's like, damn. Crap. Well, I'm going to have to hurry up and get these.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, I appreciate you telling me that. And all right, I look, too. Jesus Christ. What? They got to stop at the time. And then, I don't know if you know this, but Khabib's fight in Abu Dhabi is on Abu Dhabi time. So it's going to be super late for us.
No way.
I believe so. I'm 100% sure. I'm almost 100% sure that they're fighting on Abu Dhabi time. It could be changed recently because people are. Yeah, it's 2 p.m. Main card starts at 2 p.m. Prelim starts at 12. I hate those cards. I absolutely hate them. I hate watching UFC with the light out. I think it's.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Dude, I don't want to wake up and see Khabib. I want to spend my day, relax, get some wings, chill, and watch the fight. I don't want to have to eat lunch and watch the fights.
No, I want to eat dinner and some pizza or something. And
I don't know when I'm going to do my show. I might have to do my show Friday. Because I do my show before every UFC event. So I might have to do my show Friday then.
For sure.
Holy crap. That's interesting. Well, I'm glad we saw that now. Because I thought it was going to be like 4 or 5. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's.
But all right, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get into this fight card. But appreciate you coming on, man. You're welcome anytime.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let me know when your fight is and how I can watch it and stream it. What is it you're going to next month?
Junior World Team Trials.
Junior, and where is that located?
Shoot. I think it's in Nebraska.
Nebraska? All right, yeah. Let me know about that.
I'll text you the info and let you know.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely check it out, man. But yeah, again, thanks for coming on. Cool kid. You got a great attitude. You're on the right track.
Thank you.
Looking for high hopes for you. So
Thank you. I'll
thanks
see you
again, man.
later. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, for sure. See you, man. All right, that was Chase Saldate. I can't switch. It's not switching over. Hey, Drew, go ahead and switch it to main camera. There we go. And get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. All right. Man, what a cool kid. Great to sit down and talk to him and hear about his experiences with AKA, just in general, DC and all of them, and Khabib. Like I said, great attitude. Looking for great things from him. Super excited. And hopefully we see him one day on a UFC card. You know what I mean? So thanks again, Chase. Okay, I'm going to do this quick because I did not know the prelims started already. So I'm going to try to get this done and, you know what I mean? Skirt. But all right. Like I was saying with him, news real quick. Khamzat versus Chris Weidman. In talks, Chris Weidman wants a fight. One of the first fighters to actually step up behind Damian Maia to get the fight versus Khamzat. We'll see how that goes. Congratulations to Chris Cyborg on her fight Thursday night on Bellator. I can't remember the name of it, but she had her first career submission. Arlene Blencow was her opponent, and she pieced her up, man. It was, whew, Lord have mercy. But great fight by Cyborg. Great to see her in an organization again. Wish she was in the UFC, but she understood she couldn't beat Amanda. And if you can't beat the champ, either quit or find another place to go. And she found another place, and she's dominated over at Bellator. This is her first title defense. So, yeah, shout out to Chris Cyborg. Keep doing your thing. Back to some news we had last week about John Jones hiding under a ring to avoid the USADA drug test. Dana White has came out and said, I don't know anything about that, but unless you're in a competition, they're not testing for marijuana anyway. So what that means, John Jones was not hiding for weed. It wasn't a blunt. That boy was on some enhancers or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm going to say about that. That just seemed interesting to me. But yeah, John Jones, boy, you looking real suspicious. But also, McGregor versus Poirier, after months or a month of discussion over Twitter, we finally have a date. Unfortunately, it's not in 2020, but it will kind of open the 2021 MMA season. It would be the biggest main event of 2020 going into it, and that's January 23rd. McGregor versus Poirier. McGregor still vowed to donate $500,000 to Poirier. So I think Dustin's very grateful for that. He's going to use the money for a boxing gym in his home state or home county of Lafayette, where DC's also from. So hats off to you, Connor. Hats off to you, Dustin. I can't wait. And finally, on some news, I just have to shout this out. Jaquan Buckley, boy. Spinning back kick against Impa Kasangayan. That's how you pronounce it, I believe. It sounds wrong, but that's how you pronounce it. Wow. Jaquan throws a kick. Impa grabs his right foot with his left hand. Jaquan turns, spins, puts his foot in his face, and puts him out. If you haven't seen it, go look at it now. Some people are saying it's the greatest knockout in UFC history. I don't think it's the greatest knockout in UFC history, as I was talking to Chase about. But, man, it's up there. It's in the top 5. Top 5 for sure. There's just top 10 at least. But, man, I've never seen anything like that. And it would never happen again, I don't think. I don't think it ever happened again. There's no way that will ever happen again. There's no way. It was just too perfect of a situation for it to happen, and how it laid into his lap. And he just put that man to sleep, and he fell, and they could have yelled timber, and that boy would have still been falling. That was crazy. But all right, enough of the news. Let's break into this fight card real quick. We got Thomas Almeida versus Jonathan Martinez at the featherweight. Thomas is on a 2-fight losing streak coming into this one. He has 17 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, and 1 by decision. Before he ran into Cody Garbrandt and got whooped Thomas was undefeated at 20-0 and on a fast track to a title shot. His hype train, though, it's since come to a crashing halt, but the 29-year-old striker is still capable of great offensive combinations and has a killer liver shot. But yeah, it's generally impossible to know what Thomas is gonna look like on Saturday night, but you gotta assume that he's likely to change dramatically after 24 professional fights. I think he's gonna still be offensive, but he's repeatedly proven himself. But I think this is a good stepping stone for him to be like, yeah, I'm still here. Don't count me out just yet. He's fighting Jonathan Martinez at 12-3-0. Martinez is coming off a knockout victory back in August. He has 7 wins by knockout, 2 by submission, and 3 by decision. So 10 less knockout wins than Thomas. But that doesn't really say anything. You know what I mean? But as for Martinez, he's he's formerly a flyweight, and he's really coming into his own now. He's 26-year-old out of Texas. I think he's growing more and more confident in his defensive wrestling and his overall wrestling game in his past fights. He has been a joy to watch, but it's hard to put him under pressure, and I think that will be his saving grace in this fight. But who knows? We don't know. Thomas is a great fighter. He's very dominant. But as always, we'll get back to the pick. I don't want to say too much before I get my pick, but interesting fight. Very interesting fight. Because Thomas used to be up there. He used to be a big name, man. All right. Claudia Silver versus James Krause. Jeff Molina's coach, James Krause, shout out to him. Super excited. He's coming in on a short notice. He's fighting Claudia Silva, who's 14-1. Silva is currently on a 14-fight winning streak, dropping his first professional fight back in the day. But he has 2 wins by knockout, 9 by submission, and 3 by decision. Sorry, my computer glitched on me. It pulled the black screen. But yeah, Silva's entering this fight at 14-1. He has an impressive 5-0 UFC record. Most of his fights coming in August of 2019 after 2 decisions to start his UFC career. Silva had 3 straight submissions and likes to be on the mat. He's averaging 3.32 takedowns per 15 minutes with 33% takedown accuracy. Jesus Christ. It's not like the best, but it's effective, and that's all that counts. Krause is coming off a decision loss back in February. He's 27-9. He's 8 wins by knockout, 14 by submission, and 5 by decision. Krause is 27-9 in his MMA career, 8-6 in the UFC. He started his career 2-5 before rallying off 6 straight victories. He's a strike-heavy fighter. He's averaging 4.65 significant strikes per minute on a 48% accuracy. He takes a beating, though, absorbing 4.9 strikes per minute, which is kind of unfortunate. That's 4.09 strikes per minute. My apologies. But he's also averaging over at least 1 takedown per minute. I think he can do a little bit of both, but it's going to be how he mixes it up and brings it to Silva. And that's gonna determine what that outcome is. We'll get to that pick in a minute. All right, Jimmy Crute versus hold on with me. This is a hard one. Jimmy Crute versus Modestas Bukauskas. I believe I pronounced that. I could have put an extra syllable in there, but we're gonna leave it at that. Modestas. That's what we're gonna go with for now. Jimmy Crute is 11-1. He's coming off his first round submission back in February. 4 wins by knockout, 4 wins by submission, 3 by decision. He's one of the best young fighters out of Australia. Crute has shown a remarkable, well-rounded game at 24 years of age. His nickname's the Brute. Common sense there. He can certainly box. He has a lot of power behind his punches. He's a very physical wrestler on the mat, in your face. He has a good submission game. I'll give him that. But yeah, Crute fought a pair of ranked opponents and beat both of them. I mean, it's no big deal for him. He's ready for anything. Modestas is currently on a 7-fight win streak, 8 wins by knockout, 2 by submission, 1 by decision. But yeah, he's the guy who landed that kind of that Travis Brown like elbow in his debut. If you guys know what I mean. If you're a fan, you probably know, but it's hard to explain. But it sent his opponent falling. It just put him out. It's just amazing, to be honest with you. So if he can bring that power here, he should be good. But who knows? Who knows? He's 11-2 at the moment. Jimmy Crute 11-1. All right. Co-main event of the night: Caitlin Kukagian versus Jessica Andrade. Caitlin 14-3. She's currently ranked as the #1 fighter in the women's flyweight division. She has 2 wins by knockout, 1 by submission, 11 by decision. She's largely established herself as the second best flyweight in the women's division, I think. Though still, she's well above the division's like top prospect, which you don't even need to mention her name. It's just obvious. But I think Caitlin moves her feet well. She strikes at very long distances, and she maintains a very high volume of punches. So I think that's what she's going to do in this game plan. She's just going to try to overwhelm Jessica Andrade, which actually helped when Weili Zhang beat her in like 40 seconds or whatever, Jessica Andrade. So maybe Caitlin can do the same thing to Jessica. Yeah, Andrade is currently on a 2-fight losing streak, as we know this. Heading into this one, she has 7 wins by knockout, 7 wins by submission, and 6 by decision. She's the former champion, as we all know. She went to China, fought Weili Zhang, and lost her title. Kudos to her for actually going out there and being brave enough to do it there. It was gnarly. But yeah, regardless of the weight class, Andrade is a powerhouse, man. She for some reason has an endless gas tank. It doesn't make sense. She's a powerhouse. She's the definition of a powerhouse. Despite destroying Thug Rose with that slam on her head, I don't see her going for wrestling. I see her constantly moving her head, looking for those open targets against Caitlin, and I think she's gonna try to put her head on a platter. But we'll see. We shall see. Now the main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, Brian T. City Ortega versus the Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung. We've been waiting for this fight for so long. Personally, I have. Now, I say a lot of fighters are my favorite fighters, but Brian Ortega is one of my favorite fighters. I love watching this guy fight. I was talking to Chase about it. One of my favorite fights of all time is him versus Max Holloway. Man, I'm just so excited for this fight. Korean Zombie, T-City, let's get it. They were supposed to fight back in December. Was it December of last year? Something like that. I think it was December of last year. I can't remember. But yeah, this is well overdue. But here we go. Brian Ortega, 14-1. Ortega is currently ranked as the second best featherweight fighter in the division. 3 wins by knockouts, 7 wins by decision, and 7 wins by submission and 4 by decision. I mean, it's Ortega, man. But despite being known for his dangerous ground game, which is crazy, he has continually shown that he can strike. He is up there with the best strikers. He's very light on his toes. He's always ready to either go for the takedown or throw those hands. You never know what Ortega, and that's what makes him so deadly. But yeah, working behind his over amount of feints he does, I think, but it works for him. He'll flick out jabs from either stance, southpaw, regular, almost like if you're like kind of trying to spark a fire, if that makes sense. Just letting them go, and hopefully one's gonna catch. And that's how he fights, and it works for him. Like, it works for him, man. And he's just so dominant, man. He can put some combinations together, and then when you're stumbling, he just gets you to the ground and submits you, man. That's all he needs to do. T-City, shouts out to you, man. Now on to the Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung. He's the 4th best fighter in the featherweight division. 6 wins by knockout, 8 wins by submission, and 2 by decision. I mean, he's called the Korean Zombie for a reason. It's hard to put this man out, so don't let his name sleep on you. That boy, Korean Zombie, he knows what he's doing. He's 16-5, coming from kickboxing and traditional martial arts. He confidently presses through space, almost inviting his opponent in, which is it's like a bait, but not too hard of a bait. You gotta stay on that defensive. But once he can get his target between the cage, I think it's usually lights out for most of them, except for Yair Rodriguez in that last second elbow to knock him out. But other than that, that was a fluke. You know what I mean? I mean, whether he's slipping and returning slick uppercuts to those hook variations. I mean, even to unleashing his flying knees, like it's just too much. He offers plenty of offensive fighting power inside the pocket. You can't disrespect Jung. If you go in there thinking you're gonna put him out, you're gonna be put out, and that's why I think this fight's gonna be so good. Because Brian Ortega never sleeps on anybody. You know what I mean? He's ready for anybody. He's ready to throw. And this is gonna be a good one, y'all. Y'all better not miss this one. I'm telling y'all. I am telling you, you will see it on Twitter. It will be on Twitter. You will see it there. All right, let's get these picks real quick. Going back to the top of the card, Thomas Alameda versus Jonathan Martinez. Both of these fighters present a great chance of winning tonight. Martinez appears to have some good ground game in addition to his great striking ability. He also has been able to defend fairly well, having a solid ratio for his significant strikes. He would need to defend against takedowns better, but I have a feeling Almeida will most likely use his striking ability to attack. I've been going back and forth with this one, but I'm taking Almeida wins TKO. Final. That's what I'm going with. All right, to the next card. Claudio Silva versus James Krause. Please don't hate me, Jeff, Molina, but for this fight, I am going to have to take Silva. Krause is arguably the better fighter, looking at his resume, but for this matchup and just him coming in on a late notice, I think this is going to be a hard fight for him to get the victory. I think Silva's going to get him on the ground and submit him. Unfortunately, it sucks, but hey, I hope James proves me wrong. I want to see this guy win. Yeah, at the moment, I got Silva wins via submission. All right, on to Jimmy Crute versus Modesta Bascas. We're just going to go with Modestas. It's a very difficult last name. I would love to learn that, actually. But yeah, both of these fighters have identical resumes. They're pretty much on the fence of one about outing each other in a sense of stats wise. But Modestas, he's had a nice first impression with the UFC back in July with his knockout, and I think it was the first or second round. I can't remember. But there's no doubt this fight should be a great stand-up action. I mean, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough. But Crute arguably has a better resume when it comes to overall game, in my opinion. He's more appealing to me to pick, and I think he should be able to come out with the victory for a TKO. So I'm going to go Jimmy Crute. On to the co-main event. Caitlin Kukagian versus Jessica Andrade. This could potentially be one of the fights of the nights, I think. I honestly think. Both of these fighters make an interesting case. Looking at their stats and their resume, Kukagian has been dominant, but when it comes to decision over her career, she might not have the stinger punch or more aggressive takedowns than some of her opponents. But she has the stamina, and she puts up enough points to win, so you can't argue with that. However, Andrade makes this fight appealing for her to win. She is able to win in any category needed and is more aggressive with her strikes along with takedowns to wear down Kukagian overall. Her odds are great here. I got Andrade wins via decision. Is that a spoiler? Was that surprising to some people? I think Andrade is going to take it. All right, last but not least, we're back at it. The main event of the evening. Brian Ortega, T-City versus the Korean Zombie, Chung Sung Jung. It's going down tonight, guys. It will happen. I'm super pumped. Ortega's coming off his first loss against Max Holloway. In that fight, Holloway outstruck Ortega 290 to 110. We all know about this. It was unfortunate, led to his knockout. Jung is a great striker, so this is a little concerning for Ortega. Although the stats will tell you that Jung has a slightly higher initial takedown rate in fights, I don't think it matters. I think Ortega's so good at the ground game that the Korean Zombie's not even going to try. I think he's going to keep it up on the feet. And I think if he does try to take it to the ground, that first time he tries to take it to the ground, I think Ortega's going to submit him. So I'm taking Ortega wins via submission. And there you have it. That was a long show. Might be the longest show yet. Great conversation with Chase Saldate. Super happy to get him on the show and sit down with him. These fight cards are about to be insane these upcoming weeks. As we said, the prelims are already going on ESPN Plus right now, and the main events start at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. So if you're not home, get home now and get ready to watch these fights. And then next week, the big fight. I might be doing my show on Friday. Just letting you guys know now. I'll put it on my Instagram. Show will probably happen Friday since UFC starts at 12, and then the main event starts at 2 that day. So super pumped, super excited for those fights. It's about to be an amazing week of just these next 3 weeks. And then after Khabib, UFC 254, we got Uriah Hall versus Anderson Silva. The legend returns. And that's what I'm going to leave it at that. But everyone enjoy your night. Enjoy the fights. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'm your host, Jalen Walker. And this is Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. See you guys.